Well, first of all, I'm Ron Roberts. I graduated from Kearny a long time ago in 1960. It was a much smaller school then, but we were always very competitive athletically, and it was just growing up in Linda Vista and then going to Kearny it just seemed like the most wonderful thing, and it still does today. Ironically, many of my friends from school are still my friends. In fact, one of them, I just spent a couple days vacationing with him. We went over, saw the Padres over in Arizona for a few days.
You're holding today?
Well, first of all, Kearny really prepared me well for college. From there, from Kearny, I went to San Diego State, and then I went into UC Berkeley to do my master's work. At Kearny, though, I got interested in drafting, of all things, and didn't really think too much about it until later. I got into college, and I was really a math and science major. I loved math and science, but I started thinking maybe I want to be an architect. And in fact, it was some of those classes that I had at Kearny that really gave me the base in the desire to want to go on and study something that was really kind of foreign to me in a sense. So I went from math and science, and I decided to go get my master's degree in architecture at Berkeley. It worked out wonderfully. But I think most importantly, you got to get a good education. It prepares you for all sorts of choices that you may not know existed. I practiced architecture for over 20 years, and I loved that. And somehow, I don't know how I got into government. So this has been a whole different kind of career. But I think what's really important and what we're seeing for young people today, they're probably going to have maybe 3 or 4 different kinds of things that they work at. So the most important thing, I think, when you're in high school, it isn't so much the specifics of what you're learning, but learn to learn, because you're going to have to do that your whole life. The world changes so dramatically and quickly, and today, that you have to be prepared to learn new things all of the time. And even now, I feel like every day I'm going to learn something. So I got to be prepared. Actually, I wrestling and baseball. I liked both sports and participated in both at Kearny. And we had good teams, so it was a pleasure to be involved like that. I wasn't involved in student government at all, and it was for me. I was involved with some of the things. We had some sort of special math things and a math club and things like that, kind of nerdy stuff. And we had teams that went actually up to Occidental College and participated. They'd select 5 high school students, and I was on that math team all 3 years I was at Kearny. And it's a memory, and it's part of that learning experience and starting to think, wow, this is a pretty nice college campus. And as a 10th grader, thinking, I can do that. And so there was a lot of enrichment things that are going on. Most of all, I had some absolutely great teachers while I was there. Mr. Carter, who was my math teacher for 2 years at least, was absolutely wonderful in the way he brought all of us along and really prepared me, because that math was so fundamental to engineering and other things that subsequently I had to take. And I breezed through all of those because I had a great background. I could name a number of the teachers that were there. That literally, Mr. Carter, Mr. Harder, they gave me the academic, and they insisted, you got to study, okay, no fooling around, and it was nice. I mean, I'm not going to say every course was something that was a pleasure, but there were things that I really enjoyed, and they took it to a different level. They got you more interested than just going to school and getting a grade. I really want to learn this stuff. So the environment there, the friends that I made, and I mentioned to you, I mean, my closest friend in my life is, a former Kearny, and has been, we've been together for, junior high school on. Another friend who came out of Linda Vista but ended up going to Point Loma, and I try not to hold that against him, but he's very close to me. So those friendships can be something that's with you for a lifetime, as well as the academic experience. Well, first of all, I'm very, very appreciative of the honors. When I was first called and they said, we're going to have a Hall of Fame and we want you to be in it, There are people that are, that I'm so respectful of that were being inducted into that Hall of Fame. Bert Slater, who was, a coach, football coach that just highly esteemed. Harold Green, who was at Kearny when I was there, and he was a major news announcer, first in San Diego, then in Los Angeles. And I even went up there when he was dedicating his star on the Hollywood Walk of Stars. I mean, that's pretty good stuff. So for me, it's like I'm part of something that's a lot bigger and a lot more important than I am, and I'm really humbled by it. And again, I think what's important, is I think we want to show people that coming from Kearny High School, you really have opportunities to do a whole wide variety of things and be successful at it. There's a lot of people that haven't received this honor that I know have done some really remarkable things. So there's going to be a lot of candidates in the future, and I'd like to think that some of the students there are going to be excellent candidates to be part of this. That's the ones I want to encourage. For us, we're trying to basically create a world that there's opportunity, but you got to prepare yourself for it. We don't live in a world where people are just going to hand it off to you, and if you're expecting that, you're not going to have much. So we want what we really want to see. We want to see that the students, those especially have some gifts, get out there and develop it. Find something you enjoy and do it.